Hi everyone, this is Schmo Daddy, and this is going to be a video of what I would call my top 10. I've noticed a lot of YouTubers have been doing their top 10 video collection, or top 10 for favorite comic books, and although I'm very late on doing this, I just wanted to show some of my favorite books. So hang on one second, let me drink a sip of coffee and we'll get to that. Okay guys, I guess to start with, I will show what I will call some of my honorable mention books. They're right over here. I probably have about 13 or 14 top 10 books, so obviously I can't count very well, but this is just, or these are just some books that I would say didn't quite make the cut, but, you know, are some great books. This one is House of Secrets, the very first Swamp Thing book. As I mentioned before, I love this book. This is the first appearance of Swamp Thing, Bernie Wrightson cover, awesome composition, and is one of my favorite covers of all time. So it was very tough to not put that in the top 10, but since I'm not a super big DC fan, I couldn't quite do it. Here's another DC book, and although I am a Marvel maniac, this is I have to give a shout out to Ghost Critic because his videos have been featuring the New Gods, and he actually got me into wanting to purchase this book. So I found this on eBay for a very great price, and got it for like maybe $3 or $4. It was in very fine condition, and I just love the Jack Kirby art. I mean, man, this book is so cool. I'm definitely going to be collecting this whole series. So. Didn't quite make the cut, but still a great one. Here is a Strange Tales 109. This is like my earliest Strange Tales. I just love this little story. It's called Imps from Pandora's Box. It is just a solo Human Torch story. Awesome Jack Kirby art, has like these Kirby monsters in it, and it's a cool story. It reminds me of being a child because my dad had these Marvel Collector's Item Classics books that reprinted early Marvel titles, Spider-Man. Well, I think the first one, showed some Spider-Man books, but then the rest of them were like Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Hulk, or no Daredevil, I'm sorry. But anyway, speaking of Daredevil, here is Daredevil 168, First Elektra. Didn't quite make my top 10 cut, but it's definitely one of those that I love. This one was one of the first Frank Miller stories I'd bought, and it sparked my interest in his run on Daredevil. And here is Wolverine #1, another Frank Miller. It's just one of those semi-classic covers, one of those books you have to have if you're a Wolverine fan. Great book. Here's another one, didn't quite make the cut, but it is one of my favorite Fantastic Four books. It's called The Infant Terrible. It's just awesome Jack Kirby artwork. Sorry, the plastic I have it in needs to be replaced. It's kind of wavy. This book's actually about a 5 or 6.0 condition, but it's just very fun Stan Lee story. Alright guys, these are in no particular order, but these are my top 10. So, here's Incredible Hulk King Size Annual #1. One of my favorite Jim Steranko covers, and probably one of my favorite covers of all time. Just the iconic pose of the Hulk holding up his name and crunching the Inhumans. I think it was just clever of him to do this. I love this cover so much that I'd actually painted it on my son's wall. And instead of having the Inhumans at the bottom, I'm putting his name right here. It'll have, my son's name is Nathan, so it's going to show Nathan being crushed. So I definitely love this cover and love this book. Great Inhumans story, so I recommend picking it up. Alright guys, here is my very first EC comics, or EC comic I would say, Tales from the Crypt. I finally picked one of these up. It took me forever to get one, but I had to get it. It's one of my oldest comic books. It's about from 1951. And I was, of course, a big fan of the TV show, the HBO show that was influenced from these books. And I finally got me a copy. This one is probably in about 4.5 to 5.0 condition, but I still love it. Alright, here's one that is sort of in my top 10. It is a very rough Fantastic Four #16, and it's even the British Pence edition, which doesn't bother me too much because it's the same exact book as the ones here in America, but just as a D instead of the old 12-cent cover. So this is a great Doctor Doom cover. That's why I had to get it, and it also has the very first crossover of the Ant-Man. So I'm an Ant-Man fan, and I remember reading this story reprinted in one of those Marvel Collector's Item Classic books. So I had to pick it up recently, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Here is Strange Tales 110. I'm a Doctor Strange and a Steve Ditko fan, so this right here is one of my favorite books. It is a great little story, even though Doctor Strange is only in it for, I don't know, 7, 8 pages or something like that. Still an awesome, awesome book. And I recommend this to anyone trying to invest in old Marvels because, as of right now, this book is really not worth a whole lot. But it's the very first appearance of Doctor Strange, and it gets overlooked. You compare the prices of Daredevil #1, Hulk #1, all that. I mean, Doctor Strange doesn't get any respect. So this was a CGC 2.0, sorry, but I set it free because I wanted to read it. It's pretty good, pretty well presented for a 2.0. The only reason it's a 2 is the back of it has like a, almost like somebody set their coffee mug on the back of it back in the 60s, so there's like a little ring on the back cover. Other than that, it's not too bad. Here is a Nick Fury #1, Jim Steranko. Yeah, what can I say? It's one of my favorite artists from the 60s. I just love his pop art, psychedelia, Salvador Dali-ish books. Very, very cool. Definitely had great ideas for covers. I mean, he was a great artist, and he just, all his panels were set up like movie steels, you know? Just great. Brilliant work. All right, Marvel Spotlight #5, first Ghost Rider. Iconic cover. What more can I say? Mike Plug artwork. Excellent, excellent book. Mine's probably about a 5.0, so I'd like to upgrade someday, but just very happy to have it. So I am collecting this run of Marvel Spotlights with Ghost Rider, so I only need about 3 of them, and I'll have the collection. Someday I'll put the whole series on here when I get them all. Definitely made my top turn. Alright, here is Tomb of Dracula #10, first appearance of the Blade. I've had several copies of this in my collecting history. In fact, I had a CGC 7.0 that I'd sold recently. I was hard up for money, and I sold it for about $50 more than I paid for it, so I couldn't pass it up. But I did pick this one up for a steal. I picked it up for maybe $25. A seller had it on eBay for buy it now for 25 bucks, and it's like in fine condition, and I still can't believe I got it that cheap. And I am not complaining by any means. And I never got to read it except when I just purchased this copy, so I was very happy to have it. It's low enough grade that I don't mind reading it, and I won't be messing it up. All right, Silver Surfer #4, one of the greatest covers of all time, I think. John Buscema artwork, Stan Lee story. This one is worth almost as much as Silver Surfer #1 because of the low distribution. Although my copy has a tear on the cover, you know, you can't tell when it's in the bag, but I'd like to upgrade it someday. But I just love this book. There's just something about it. So let's see here. What is next? Oh, this is one of my earliest X-Men. Although I used to have an X-Men #1, a CGC 2.5, I sold it because I needed money really bad. And I kind of regret that because it's going to be a long time before I get another one. This one is in very nice condition considering its age. It's probably about a 5.0, 5.5, you know. I love it because of the Submariner cover. I just think he's a cool. I love the way Jack Kirby drew him. I don't know why. It's just definitely a classic Kirby issue. Alright, this one isn't really worth a whole lot, but it means a lot to me. This is probably the first Silver Age book that I picked up as a child. I was at the mall, I believe in Evansville, Indiana, and this comic book was a little comic book store, and I just saw it, and I really wanted to get me an old Silver Age book, so I plucked down my money and picked this one up, and I still love it. I would never sell this book just because it kind of introduced my love for old comic books, and it's a great, great Gene Colan story. It's got Mr. Fear in it, and the artwork is spectacular. Gene Colan is definitely one of my favorite artists, so this one, although not worth a lot, is still one of my top books. Okay, Amazing Adventures #11, very first furry beast. Love this book. Mine is probably about a 3.5. The bottom staple is very close to being detached. It's not detached, but it's just hanging there. You know, it's pretty bad. I need to upgrade this book. But I love this book. I love these sort of picture frame type comic books from the 70s. They're just so cool. And the story is great. So I think it's Mike Plug art, just like the Ghost Rider over there. Sorry. Here we go. One more. I got more. Silver Surfer #1. This is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. Wow, what can I say? The Stan Lee story is amazing. You get to see the creation of the Surfer. You get to see Galactus as he should look. Besides that silly Galactus they put in the Fantastic Four movie, which sucked. No offense, but they ripped us all off in that movie. But they wouldn't show Galactus. They showed a stupid ass cloud instead of showing Galactus. But hopefully they will make a Silver Surfer movie and do him justice. This book right here is a must-have for Silver Surfer fans. This is in my opinion, this book goes up in value a lot. Still pretty underpriced for what I think it should be. So I recommend you getting it. John Buscema's artwork is fantastic. And how can you have a Silver Surfer #1 without having Fantastic Four 48? The very first Silver Surfer. One of my favorite books. This one is probably about a very good condition book, but it's still one of my favorites. It's got that iconic Watcher cover, The Coming of Galactus. Although I have number 50 and number 48, I do not have number 49, and I have to pick that one up because I do not have it. So this is definitely one of my faves, and you should get this if you are a Surfer fan. And to end it, I'm going to show the Holy Trinity of Hulk books, the 181, 82. So I will just show you my 180 real quick and talk a little bit about it. I'd actually saw this one on eBay, and the seller he had it on there for like 30 bucks, buy it now. And I was like, are you kidding me? It had the Marvel value stamp, it's in like fine condition, and this is about maybe a year ago, and I snapped that one up like you wouldn't believe, because I was like, hell yeah. Very first cameo of Wolverine, he's in the very last page. I love the Wendigo, and I love this Hulk story. I'm very glad to have gotten that one. And then, everybody and their mother has this book, but you have to if you're a Wolverine fan. This right here is the book to have. Mine is about a 5.0. The only problem is it has like a light stain on the Hulk, H on the Hulk up there. You can't see it in the light probably, but it's got a crease, a light crease. You know, other than that, it's in real nice shape. It has the Marvel value stamp, otherwise I wouldn't mess with it. So definitely one of those books that I will cherish. Alright, and this will be my last book. This is kind of with my Hulk Trinity I'm talking about here. Hulk 182. This has the small cameo of Wolverine. I still have the original price tag on it because I was so proud of it. I got this at a comic book shop maybe about a year ago, and he had it for sale for $5. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, seriously? I figured maybe the Marvel value stamp was cut or something, but no, everything's in there. It's all complete. Probably about very good condition. It has like the spine's been kind of miswrapped, as you can tell. The white on the spine, you know, probably brings the gray down a little bit. But I picked it up for $5, and you cannot beat that for an early Wolverine appearance. So, alright everyone, this is Schmo Daddy 2, and just wanted to show some of my books, and thank you. Later.